Joining me now, Byron York, chief political correspondent for the Washington Examiner, Fox News contributor, and Chris Bedford, executive editor for the Common Sense Society. Byron, I thought that line from the White House counsel's office, you know, as a former white-collar criminal defense attorney, that line saying he was not in business with his son. Go ahead, Byron. What does that reassure us of?
That's why they have a word called lawyerly. That's very lawyerly. Remember that Joe Biden has over the years denied repeatedly that he knew anything about his son's businesses, about the foreign shady connections that took place when Joe Biden was the vice president and after he was the vice president, and continued perhaps until he became the actual president. The WhatsApp message you're talking about, July 30th, 2017, that's the biggest piece of new evidence that we've seen in quite a long time. And Hunter Biden simply says he's threatening this Chinese business associate, saying, if I don't get what I want from you right now, Dad is right here, and he knows a lot of people, and it's going to be really bad for you. It's the strongest piece of evidence we have yet that Joe Biden was aware and was there. And if he wasn't, if Hunter Biden was lying, if there's some other circumstance, then we need to know that.
Now, Chris, Hunter's attorney, Chris Clark, released a statement today, and they're never on camera, of course, saying any verifiable words or actions of my client in the midst of a horrible addiction are solely his own and have no connection to anyone in his family. Chris, he is a victim. You knew they were going to play this game. It's the drugs that did it. This wasn't real. I wasn't at my dad's house, where apparently photos, actually show him that he was there. What do you make of this?
And it certainly was connected to his bank account, because just a few weeks after that message was sent, over $5 million was transferred from the Chinese company he was talking to, or accounts associated with it, to accounts associated with Hunter. So it absolutely worked. He was in business for this. I mean, you see the Department of Justice now redacting information in the non-classified document that they were forced to share with Congress that showed examples of actual, referenced examples of actual voice recordings of not just Hunter Biden talking to the president of Burisma, but also allegedly Joe Biden himself on 2 different occasions talking to the president of Burisma about these actual accounts they had. Now, the Washington Post and New York Times, they finally tackled this story, but they tackled it in a way that's designed to take it down. You've got multiple IRS agents coming out and saying the DOJ was stopping this investigation. They wouldn't let it go forward. They were blocking the U.S. attorney. Everything they're saying is a lie. And here are multiple examples. And both the Post and the New York Times took some specific examples and said, well, we don't actually know where Joe Biden was sitting at that moment. But that's not the accusation. Even though that's a bombshell, the whole thing was that the DOJ is shielding the president from this, and so is the media.
Well, the White House press secretary today went back to the podium to try to play a little defense herself. Watch.
You've stated that the president stands by his comment from the 2020 campaign that he never once discussed his son's overseas business dealings with his son. And you stood at that podium and you reaffirmed that. Do you stand by your reaffirmation?
What I will say is nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. And I will leave it there.
Byron, they need to realize this, is this enough at this stage? I mean, a lot has changed, even if, we have the reporters like Andrea Mitchell who say, well, we can't authenticate these WhatsApp messages. Like, how about pursue the story? Okay, pursue the story.
Well, yeah, well, White Houses can exist in bubbles. And certainly, as of Tuesday, the White House seemed to think that the whole Hunter Biden thing was over and closed. He pleaded guilty to 2 misdemeanors. They dropped the gun thing, and everything's fine. And 48 hours out come with Republicans with this evidence that they have gathered, and it is by no means all of the evidence that they have got. So, the idea that President Biden could actually believe that he's over this thing, that he's gotten past this thing, I find that actually believable. The White House has not yet really figured out that another party controls the House of Representatives, and it's not going to go away.
Well, this was an amazing week, and also another week when the American media, the corporate media, has utterly embarrassed itself in the way that they covered this, or didn't cover it, or didn't pursue it. It is, I mean, it's why this is, you know, all of it's going down. Their credibility is shot. Byron, Chris, have a great weekend. Thank you.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.